I think when you're scaffolding for students, it's kind of this balance between making sure they feel supported and achieving things on their own. So you want to give them enough support, but not so much that they feel like, well, the teacher really kind of did that for me. It's almost like the student is a spinning top, and you're trying to keep it up, but you're trying to like touch it as lightly and as infrequently as possible. So you might just do a little tap here, a little tap there to keep it up, but you're trying not to just like put your hand on it. And I try to think about scaffolding like that. It's probably not going to be like this big drawn out part of a lesson. It's going to be, you know, there might be more scaffolding initially depending on the content of the lesson, but then there's going to be little sort of soft touches throughout that will be different for each student to kind of keep them upright. Who is first? Okay, Brianna is first. Solo Brianna. Who is this? Mechanic. Mechanic.
Work.
Okay, Brianna. ¿Cuál? He or she or they?
He.
Okay.
He is the mechanic.
Good. He is a mechanic. Let me move this over a little bit. He is a mechanic. Okay. All right, Lauren, come up.
He's the teacher. Lauren teacher.
Maestra.
Sit.
This one? Okay, students, listen.
Okay.
This is the student. Lo siento. This is the student. You are the maestros. Okay, maestros, listen
Okay.
and say yes or no.
No.
Okay.
She is a police officer. Yes.
Oh, thank you. You can sit down, Lauren. Brianna. Okay, maestros.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. Oh, thank you. You have one more? Okay.
Days. Days. Days.
They. This is difficult. Can you help her?
Contractor working. Contractor working.
Okay, todos, otra vez. They
are
construction workers. Thank you, Brianna. You can sit down.
Okay. You guys had a really good discussion. I heard a lot of problems and solutions that you talked about. Did you get to talk about two with your partner or more? If you had more, that's even better. You had two? Okay. So you're going to work with your partner now, and you're going to pick out of all the problems and solutions that you just talked about, you're going to pick one that you and your partner want to write on your strip. So one of you is going to write down the problem on the red, and then the other of you will write the solution to that problem. So out of all the ones that you talked about, you have to decide together which problem and solution you want to write on your strip. How many problems are you writing?
One.
One. Which one's it going to go on?
The
red.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does that make sense what to do?
Yes.
Are you going to just write like one word?
No.
Whole sentences, right? So, we've got some problems and we have some solutions. The next thing we're going to do is glue our prompt into our journal, just like we usually do. So I'm going to give you your prompts. We're going to open our journal to a new spread, right? The spread is 2 pages side by side that are empty. So you're going to glue it just like we normally do on the top of your left page, just like that. So your prompt says, Will noticed that the people in his community did not have fresh vegetables, so he decided to create a garden. Remember, that was the big problem. And his solution was to start the garden. As he started to make the garden, he encountered more problems. If you encounter something, it means you kind of run into it. He ran into more problems. Write a paragraph to describe the new problems that Will faced and how he solved them. You guys came up with some that we can use, so you can use some of the ones that we put in the pocket chart for your paragraph that you're going to write. You're going to think about some problems and how he solved them. So that's what you're going to do for your paragraph.
When I'm thinking about scaffolding, I look at what the student can do already. And we use that phrase a lot because WIDA has their can-do descriptors, and I use that as a reference a lot of times, and we'll look at what the next level up is. And so I will look at how do I bring the student from the level that they have tested at in the access, how can I bring them up to the next one, and what kind of scaffold might I need to provide in order for them to reach that next level. Okay, so for example, if the student can write simple sentences, then I want to provide a scaffold for them to construct more compound or complex sentences, and I can do that by providing sentence frames. For example, when fill in the blank, I blank. So kind of those different structures of sentences rather than just noun, verb structure. So if I'm trying to build that scaffold for a student to create a compound or complex sentence, I'm going to target those subordinating conjunctions, and I'm going to teach those conjunctions explicitly and specifically, and then have the student practice over and over to become familiar with that sentence structure. So that's one example of how I would scaffold. Another scaffold I can provide if I know that the student's general vocabulary is not very specific, they're lacking some of the academic language they need or the specific content words that they need to access the content that they're learning. We'll spend a lot of time building the vocabulary, and then I'll provide a word bank and visuals to go with the words that we're working with, and those words themselves or the visuals that go with the words serve as scaffolds for the students to be able to start to incorporate those words into their speech and their writing and their productive language.